Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to review Punisher Warzone. Now, I've seen all three of the Punisher movies. I actually look forward to the first two, and this one is by far the best of the three. And that is a sad, sad commentary about Punisher movies. Because this is not a good film. The violence was really high, which I kind of expected. In fact, it reminded me in many ways of action films from like the 1980s. My wife was kind of taken aback by it, and I can understand that. She has a lower tolerance for this kind of thing than I do, and both of us avoid the torture porn that passes for horror movies nowadays. But this film was still, even if you take the violence and kind of ignore it, it still wasn't very good. The film goes in 26 minutes before the main character speaks a single word. And in those 26 minutes, we get to see him do improbable things, lots of people be dumb around him. He makes a major mistake because, well, let's face it, he kills people for fun and profit. Because he's got lots of money in the film, and the only way he can get that money is if he's killing people to take it. I once heard the Punisher character described as the guy that every other hero in the Marvel Universe spends their career hunting down and trying to capture, but he's supposed to be one of the good guys. I've never been a huge Punisher fan in the comic. At one time, I was a very much hardline, vengeance-orientated, kill them all, let God sort them out kind of a person. And when I was like that, I appreciated some of the comics. And over time, I became less and less enamored of that. Now I prefer my action to be a little less visceral. There is a cathartic aspect of, artificial, imaginary violence, and I freely admit, but even if you want to watch this film for that, the rest of it is just not good. The acting's not good, the dialogue isn't well done, everybody's very wooden, and it's like they just brought out the parade of racial stereotypes in this movie. It was just not good. I wanted to like it, I really did. And at some point I'm probably going to have to watch it again because there is a commentary track, and I'd really like to hear what this director's got to say that he thought this was a really good way to do things. Now, the main character really does seem to portray Punisher well. He looks and acts the way I imagine he's supposed to look and act. The guy who helps him with weapons looks and acts like I imagine the character from the comic is supposed to look and act in real life. So I guess they did get a certain thing correct. But it's very simplistic. And the only way he could do what he does is with the entire police force being his accomplice, which more or less happens in the film. A whole lot of people know what he does, and they don't do anything about it. But here's the thing. When you murder people, you're breaking the law. And you're committing an immoral act. It doesn't matter if the people you're murdering are bad guys. Unless you catch them in the act, killing them is murder. So unless he just wanders around the city hoping to catch mafia goombas in the act, you're not allowed to shoot them. It's just the way it is. We're supposed to be civilized. And the fact that he does shoot them makes him uncivilized, immoral, and a murderer. So yeah, you can't really warm up to this character. I can't feel any sympathy for him at all. And they tried really hard for me to feel sympathy. His family was murdered. Horrible event. But the first time he killed someone in cold blood, I may still have compassion for him as a human being, but you should go to jail now. So, if you like the Punisher character, this does in fact convey the character fairly well on the big screen. And it does have some nice action sequences, even though they're very improbable, even for an action movie. And the violence is way over the top, which is probably a selling point for some people, and that's okay. But I didn't much enjoy it. I'm keeping the movie, but I'm not keeping the case. And that's one of the ways you can tell if I really like a movie or not. If I just toss the case when I'm done watching it, it's a sign that it wasn't very good. The film has to be decent before I'll keep the case. But I can't give this one a thumbs up, folks. It wasn't the worst I've seen in a while, but it definitely wasn't the best either.